Okay, I'm sorry you didn't get much, break between two classes, but these are reviews, so I believe you will not have much of a problem in connecting to whatever is being discussed. So since it is a review, we shall try to move a bit faster. Okay. So the idea is that we are in trying to understand or have a recap of discrete time signals and systems that you have studied in signals and systems. So signals and systems might have both continuous and discrete time signal system under consideration. So we are reviewing the discrete time signal systems part for getting greater insights of digital signal processing. So signal generation, different kind of discrete time signals, its manipulation is under consideration. Generation part, simulation, MATLAB, etc. that we have seen and we have understood, we tried to visualize that. Now we are going to the system level understanding and a quick recap. So one thing that we usually consider, of course, there will be different kind of variations and ways and means to handle it. So that is called linear time invariant system. Okay. So linear system, we know that the principle of superposition should be valid, and time invariant means if the input signal is shifted in time, the output also will get shifted in time accordingly. So this we all know, and we have seen in the past. Now, when we consider that in system level understanding and try to get a response for any input, say xn, which is sent to a LTI system, okay, to generate yn, then what is the relationship between xn and yn? Okay, this is what is important, and as we can understand, this will definitely be related to how this system, this LTI system is described. Okay, so this input signal will be manipulated by whatever is there inside this system. I'm sorry, what is happening here? Just to again redo the thing. Now it is better. Okay, so the process that is considered is called convolution, right? So what is that? We have seen probably before in the previous course, but we shall have a quick look at that. Now, one thing, when we talk about LTI system, in the way we have seen this course so far, we can also call this as a LSI system. Okay, so S stands for shift. So linear time invariant system can be also termed as linear shift invariant system. Why we are saying that? Because we know that once the signal is discretized, digitized, stored in memory, the time information is gone, right? It is only one memory value or one sample value and another sample value, and these are only the indices n is equal to 1, 2, 3, right? The so-called time shifting or time invariance is related to shifting in the places, the sample indices according to that, and accordingly it will be shift invariant system or shift variant system. So this we keep in our mind. Okay. So if del n, we have already seen what is del n, right? So if we give del n as input to the system and this generates an output HN, right, which is called unit sample response. Then we can write YN, the output for any general XN, to be a convolution of XN with this unit impulse response. And how it comes, it is very simple. Once we impose this linearity and time invariance property on this system under consideration. Okay. So we had seen before that any Xn can be written as shifted, delta n multiplied by the coefficients which represents the sample values. Okay, so this is the coefficient. So this we have seen before, right? So the transformation is done, operation is done on Xn, means operation is done on this particular summation series that we see over here. Okay. Now, since these are all coefficients and constants, right? We can keep it out in a linear system, and then the operation is done on this del t del n minus k, right? Since it is time invariant or shift invariant, right? So if del n generates Hn, then del n generates Hn, then Hn del n minus k will generate Hn minus k. Okay, so we come down to this expression. This you have noted before, and this one can be written in a short form, in a simplified manner, by what you see over here. Okay. And by substitution of variable, by changing the variable, by making n minus k is equal to m, right? And accordingly, looking at the limits and other things, we can see that if you change the order, that it means if it is hk x n minus k, right, that also will give you the same result. So xn convolution with hn is same as hn convolution with xn. Okay. So you know this proof. If we ask in the class test or so, you can quickly get it done just by simple substitution of variable. Okay. Now, what is the physical significance of it? Again, you probably, or you should have seen it before, but for the sake of completeness or clarity, we take up an example which is given in the Oppenheim-Schaefer discrete time signal processing textbook. So most of this discussion is from that particular textbook. So if you follow the textbook, you should follow that textbook rather to complement whatever we are discussing here. If anything is from a different source, the way we had described in class 1 or class 2, that this is not in Oppenheim text and all, or notations are different because it is from this thing. So I shall mention that separately so that you do not have any difficulty in connecting those notations or those textbook material with the principal textbook that we are following. Okay. So the example taken, as I said, I will go a bit faster. You can refer to the textbook if there is any gap, and otherwise we can come back later in a future class since it is a review of the previous thing. So in this example, we are considering that Hn is un minus un minus capital N. For your understanding, if it is, helps you, you can consider n is equal to 6. Okay, in this particular case, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 samples are there. So for this particular drawing, the figure, so you can consider 6, you can consider 5, you can consider something else, right? So the derivations that has been done, or the way it has been shown, it is for a general n, but example is given is for 6. Okay, and you can substitute and you can see that it works for other values of n as well. And what is xn? Xn is a to the power n un. Okay, so a is of course less than 1. Less than 1 means magnitude of a is less than 1, and So of course A is positive, otherwise there would have been positive negative excursion. Of course it is, the values are coming down if A was negative, but in this example we consider A is positive and less than 1, right? So in the convolution what we do? So the first thing we do is, so this is your xk, right? And h minus k is there. So h minus k is just inversion of what is your hn? Hn is this. This is your n is equal to 0, 4, 5, 6. For this particular example, capital. Okay. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? N is equal to 6. So after that it cancels out. So it is n is equal to 0. Similarly, it could be same for k is equal to 0 if this axis is k. So h minus k will be inversion from this side. From here, it will go to this side, right? Up to k is equal to minus 5, right? So this is the shifting that is being shown here for any n minus 1. And we can see as long as n less than 0, there is no overlap. None of these samples, none of this is overlapping with this one, right? So yn will be 0, right? And when this is 0, the first sample is getting overlapped because it is now moving towards right. As you are increasing the value of n in this n minus k, increasing the value of n, it is moving towards right. Okay. So at n is equal to 0, one sample getting overlapped. N is equal to 2 samples are getting overlapped. So increasingly more and more samples are getting overlapped. And at n is equal to n minus 1, all the samples will get overlapped. Okay. All these samples will get overlapped. So the last one to enter will overlap with this value. Last but one to enter will overlap with this one, and that way it will continue. Okay, before that it is less in number. Okay, not all of them are getting overlapped. Okay, so again you can look at the calculation that is given in your textbook. You'll see that this yn would in this particular region will be that the GP series, etc. So it will be of this value. And the last thing that comes when all of them have, this overlap is complete, full, that all the samples that was there in the right hand side here has overlapped, and still you are increasing the value of n, so it keeps shifting to the right. Okay, so now because a to the power n un was a decreasing function, decreasing value, so as it moves to the right, this overlap, so you are actually multiplying and adding in the convolution relationship. So this value as a whole, the summation for each n is coming down. As a result, what you will see that the value is first increasing and then decreasing, and it continues to infinity. Of course, the value becomes less. Okay, right? So this is what you will see. Now comes a quick question. You consider your Hn is whatever was the value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And your this xn 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so these 4 values. That means a to the power n. This is creating a lot of problem. Un, the whole thing un minus un minus 4. Okay, right. Then what will be the length of yn? Right, you might have seen it before, but it is you can work it out by just looking at. So it is not extended to infinity. Xn is not extended to infinity. Xn is also of finite length. Hn is finite length, the one that it was before, right? So 0 to 5. After that, all values are 0. Here it is 0 to 3. After that, all values are 0. Right? So what are the non-zeros values of Yn? Right? For n is equal to what to what? Right? All of you can visualize the way the shifting is done and all, and can you tell me?
So 9.
9. Okay. Anyone differing? All of you can see that it will be 9. I'm sorry, because of some issue, this line is not getting done proper. Okay, whoever has said 9, can you give justification for that?
Sir, so the non-zero value starts, so I like flipped the lower function,
Right.
and then I am tracking the first.
Okay, so just to supplement what your friend has said for rest of the, this thing that others, that here Hn was flipped, but you could have flipped Xn also. So lower function flipping means he is flipping the Xn, which is also equivalent. Okay, so Hn convolved Xn is same as Xn convolved with Hn. The order doesn't matter. So your friend is flipping Xn, the lower one, instead of Hn. Okay, go ahead, please. Next.
So after flipping, so non-zero values start from the 0th position only. So we shift one by one towards the right. So the 0th, so the 0th sample of the lower flipped one, it goes through 6 places to reach the end of the upper function. And after that, there are 3 more places left, so which come at the last position. So 3 more.
That is the tail of it, isn't it?
Yes.
Very good. You have correctly said. Those who had difficulty in this part, or is trying to recollect that part, what your friend has just said, yes, fine. This is 6 and this is flipped, and then this is being shifted. These 4 are being shifted. So this is your n is equal to 0 case. So one sample overlap. Then this window is getting shifted up to this. Of course, this when it is the 6 value, all of them are getting overlap. But after that, what is happening? This one is going out, but this 3 is having overlap. Then another one is going out. This 2 is getting overlap, and then finally one more. So this length is 4, right? So 4 minus 1. This number of overlaps are still there from the tail side. And of course, earlier this 6 was there. So 6 plus 4 minus 1. That's how your friend has arrived at this number. So in general, so if it is a finite length sequence, one is of length n1, another is of length n2, then the converged signal will be having a length n plus n2 minus 1, right? So the converged signal will be spread out, right? Converged signal will be a spread out version of both Hn and Xn, right? So this is the result of the convolution. What you get is a spread out form of this Xn and Hn. And the other thing that you can see in such a situation and all, when the overlap is maximum and all, right, the value is more. And initially, when the overlap is just starting, the value is relatively less. So this is the maximum overlap, right? Because this is a decreasing function, as you are shifting, it is getting shifted. But after that, when it leaves for a finite duration signal, then it will again gradually come down because of only the tail is getting overlapped, right? So you can expect that the signal nature, the spread out version is something like this. Okay, this might be useful. This basic understanding will be useful later on when you design large complex systems, right? You can recollect your convolution, learning of convolution days and pictorial descriptions. Now, this often comes into consideration when you describe systems or you manipulate systems. You connect one system with another, right? So there is one system, then there is another system in series or cascaded. So often we perform these manipulations. So if we convolve xn with del n, the result is xn. Can somebody tell other than your friend who has just said? This automatic, next one is automatically coming from the first one. Can somebody else tell how is it so? I mean, what is the physical understanding, physical meaning of it from visual description or the way you have seen before? Xn convolved with del n is xn itself. I'm drawing xn over here. This is my xn. And del n is, you know, just one value. Rest all are 0. This is your del n and this is your xn. Okay, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. Somebody else other than who spoke just now, how xn convolved with del n is xn itself. Why so? What is the physical meaning of it? Yeah. Yes, please.
So xn, say let's say it is between 0 and some value capital N. So now delta n is not traversed across n, so it would be it would give me a positive result for 0 to n only, because it's a single pulse. There are no other pulses. So
Right.
if we add them up at the single value, it would be the single values which will give me the same function again.
Okay. So just to elaborate whatever your friend has said, that I am supposed to, you know, invert it, flip it, and then shift it. So n is equal to 0. I am here. It just overlaps with one particular sample, the x0 value. So I get x0. Then n is equal to 1. It is right shift, we all know. So it is, this 1 is overlapping with this one only. Rest all are 0. So the convolution is wherever it is overlapping, multiplying and then adding. So the addition result for rest of the things will be 0. And this is 1 multiplied with x1. Okay. So that will generate only x1, similarly x2, similarly x3. So this way it happens. Fine. Great. Thank you. Now, xn convolved with del n plus s is xn plus s. That is a shifted version of it. Can you visualize it? Somebody else? If I convolve del n plus s, because it will be required later on when we discuss bigger system. If I convolve del n plus xn with del n plus s, I shall just get a shifted version of xn. And this is could be minus, plus, etc. This is your xn, right? And if we consider s to be positive, say plus 2, right? So del n plus 2 is what? Towards left, this is your n is equal to 0. This height is 1 and rest all are 0. This is my xn. After convolving, shall I get a shifted version of this xn? Okay. So this will be xn plus 2. So xn plus 2 is right shifted. Sorry, left shifted. Can somebody tell how it is happening? Is there anyone trying to answer other than two who have spoken just now?
Sir, if we consider yn to be the output,
Yn to be the output, yes.
and let's say the value of s is 2. So,
2, yes.
yeah.
Yeah, 2.
If we compute y0,
Y0, yes.
that would be equal to xn multiplied with impulse at -2. So that means that y0 comes out
xn multiplied with, this is your xn.
xn multiplied
And
with
impulse is at -2. This is the one -2.
Yes. So the
that is what we are saying. Output will be?
Output, that is y0 will be x -2.
How is it? If you are multiplying, so this is this -1, this is multiplied with this one.
Sir, the value of s is 2.
Value of s is 2.
I'm just.
You mean to say it is not at -2. If you are flipping it, it will go to
-2, yes.
+2. Isn't it? Convolution means what? If this is Hn which you are flipping, you can flip the other one also, Xn also. So this is your Hn, del n plus 2. So if you flip it, it will become like this, right? So this, now whatever you have said is correct, you go ahead. So this x2 will get multiplied with this one, and rest all are multiplied with 0. So at n is equal to 0, you will get x2.
So what I mean
is this what you wanted to say?
Yes, sir. What I mean is if Hn is delta n plus 2, del n plus 2. So that basically means that we have an impulse at -2, right? Del n plus 2 is an impulse at -2. That's what I mean.
Right.
Del n plus 2 is an impulse at -2.
Right. That is there in this figure, yes. And when you flip it, you get this one, right? And then when you multiply with this value. So at n is equal to 0, you will get x2. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Right? Then for other values of n, you will see that if it is n is equal to -1, then it will get shifted over here and it will be multiplied with this value. So this one will come. N is equal to -2, this one will come. N is equal to +1, so this value will come. Okay? So this is the way it is happening, and as a whole, the whole signal is getting shifted to the left. Similarly, it can shift to the right. Okay. So similarly, we can understand that this is convolved with del n. So this is del n -1. Xn is your del n -1. So it will be del n -1 only. The last one. Can you visualize that del n -1 when convolved with del n plus 1 will result in del n?
So we can just take del n -1 as xn and del n plus s, and that s as 1.
Yeah.
So we get del of n -1 plus 1, which is del of n.
Right. So you can derive it from the previous thing. Otherwise, those who loves to do visual understanding and all, you can look at this way also, right? That what is happening and flip and you can see what is happening. Now, this del n -1, if this is a system which is, if the input is del n, sorry, then it generates Hn, which is del n -1. Okay. Then can you tell what is the relationship between Xn and Yn? I am saying that this is a system. Okay. This is this is impulse response of a unit sample response of a system. Okay. Then what is that system? How the input and output in general is associated. Sorry, this is Yn. I'm sorry. This is Xn and this is Yn. So Yn will be Xn minus 1. Am I correct? For the system for which input is Hn, impulse response is Hn, that system is described by this. Can I get audio response quickly?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, sir.
If I give Xn as del n, then output will be, Xn minus 1, del n minus 1. So similarly, what will be this one? X n plus 1. For this, if this is only the system that is there. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now, if these two systems, if we put one after another, one is say advancing, another is one is forward shift, another is backward shift, right? I shall get the original signal, that is the del n. Okay, and these two systems, the corresponding equivalent system, this is del n minus 1, this is del n plus 1. This is your del n only. That means the original signal stays back. So convolution, over here we see that what is there inside can be obtained by convolving these two. Okay, and it is true in general for other cases as well, which we shall see later. Next comes what is called absolute summability. Okay, so this also we have seen before. So if this is your basic convolution equation, and since this is a summation, we are looking at the magnitude of it, whether it is bounded or not. This is definitely less than equal to, if you multiply, if you take absolute value of each one of them and multiply. Okay, both are positive or so, then the equality sign is there. And then if Xn is bounded, right, each of these value is bounded less than some value, maximum value, then we can say that this is less than equal to this value, and we are left with this one. If this one, this summation is absolute, sum of absolute values of the impulse response. So that's why we are calling absolute summability. If it is finite, then the value of Yn also will be finite. Okay, it will be bounded. So this is something we had seen before, and we take note of it again. So this system that we have kind of seen before, which is kind of an accumulator. It just accumulates the values of input Xn, right, and just sums it up to that particular point from minus infinity to the current time. So this accumulator, if we look at its unit samples response, so instead of x, we shall have del. Okay, so this value, you are able to you are with me that instead of xk we are writing del k, right? So this is 1 for n greater than equal to 0 and 0 for less than 0, because del k is, there is one value that is there, which comes as 0, del 0 over here, which will be equal to 1, and this is nothing but your un. And if you take the summation of the un, of course it will be infinity. It is not finite, so this is unstable. So this way also you can kind of, analyze or interpret a system. Now comes two terms. In the lab, you will be performing for the second experiment FIR filtered, etc. So we need to get introduced. Otherwise, also it is not that difficult. So this is this kind of representation where output is derived only from input and its lag values. Okay, that is called FIR filter. That is called FIR filter, and where the output is generated from the input as well as some previous instances of the output. That is called IIR. Okay. Now why they are called like that? So this is finite impulse response. Finite impulse response. And say if you give del n as input, so impulse response will be the Hn will be the impulse response. So for x, xn is equal to del n for the first system. For y0, you have got del 0 plus a multiplied with del minus 1, right? Which is nothing but this is del 0 is 1 by definition plus 0, which is 1. Next, y1 is this n becomes del 1, which is equal to 0, a del 0, which is 0 plus a is equal to a. Now y2, it will be, if you continue, we will see that it is del 2 plus a multiplied with del 1. Both are 0. So this is 0, and for any higher values. So that's why you will see that finite values, non-zero values are coming only for finite duration, finite number of samples. So that's why it is called FIR. If such references is there, past value feedback is, output is not feedback to the input, then this is what is going to happen. Okay. On the contrary, for a system like this, there can be other lag values of xn and other lag values of y, but this is one of the simplest system. So we are considering initially say relaxed. So y minus 1 is 0, y minus 1 is 0. Okay. Then y0 will be what? Will be your del 0 plus a y minus 1, which is nothing but 1 because this is initially relaxed, and y1 is del 1, which is 0. Okay, del n is 1 for n is equal to 0, and for all other values, it is all other values of n, it is 0. So this is a into y0. y0 we have already calculated as 1, so this is a. Then y2 will be a into y1, so that is a square, then a cube, and so on. That is what has been shown here, and it will be of infinite length. Depending on the value of a, it will be dying or it will be increasing, so that is a separate issue. But length will be infinite. Non-zero values will be of infinite length. So this is infinite impulse response. Okay, what we keep in mind, so if there is a feedback like of the output going to the in the generation of the current output, so this is IIR system, and only reference made to input, then it is a FIR system. So this is what we need to keep in mind. Now if there is one system H1 and there is another system H2, both are LSI system. Okay, and if Xn is given as input and Yn is the final output, even if you change the order of these two systems, the output is not going to change. You will get it from the convolution equation, manipulation of the convolution equation. Okay, and the equivalent system can also be considered as H1n. This is a new Hn, which you can write in the form of the basic convolution equation, which is represented by H1n and H2n. Okay, so when they are in series, this is the way this can be equivalent system can be identified. Okay, so proof of this you might have seen in the signal systems course. Otherwise, you can do it yourself or see the book. But this is important, that how the equivalent system is coming. Okay. Now we come to the example, one example. Okay. So what is happening here? We have a system which is first of all performing a forward difference, and then we are performing one sample delay of the output of forward difference. Okay. So what is it? Let us see. Let us understand the meaning of it. Forward difference means xn plus 1. This is the input minus xn. Okay. So this kind of forward difference is being done. Okay. You don't need to worry about that. This is not causal and all. So that is not what we are trying to understand here. So this is generating this intermediate output y1n. You can understand that. One sample delay. So relationship between this y1n and yn is given by this, right? Now, if you substitute this y1n minus 1 from here, whatever. So this is y1n. So y1n minus 1 will be what? xn minus 1. Okay. So this y1 n minus 1 substituting from here, instead of n it will be n minus 1. So this is n minus 1 plus 1. So that is n. So that is xn. Right? And this is n. So this is n minus 1. So this will be xn minus 1. Now what is it? This is backward difference. So this is your backward difference. So this is the equivalent system that you will get. Okay. This is the corresponding equivalent system, right? And this you can get by convolution also. This is from our understanding and doing intermediate, kind of, analysis. I mean, by writing two equations, right? So you can look at this part of the calculation, and we have already noted certain things like this, how delta n and delta n minus 1 or delta n plus 1 or delta n minus s or delta n plus s are manipulated. Apply that and see that we can go by these equations, or we can directly follow whatever has been mentioned here, as the equivalent system will be convolution of these two impulse responses, unit sample responses. Okay. So del n plus 1 convolve with del n minus 1 is del n. Can I get a audio response that you have seen it before?
Yes.
Great. And del n convolve with del n minus 1. Whatever you convolve with del n will be del n. So this is del n minus 1. So if this is your Hn, del n del minus 1. What is your yn and xn relationship, the system level relationship? So yn will be this del n is xn and this del n minus 1 is xn minus 1. So that is nothing but your backward difference. That is what you calculated, got from these intermediate, considering the intermediate equations. And if you change the order, that also doesn't matter, right? Whether you bring a del n minus 1 before and all. So when you convolve, the result remains same. So if you perform one sample delay first and then forward difference, okay, the result is the same. So this will give you backward difference. Now come another definition, what is called inverse system. Okay. So inverse system is if what you have given some input, there is a system in place that generates some output, and then you have an inverse system, you get back the original input. Okay. So then the second system is the inverse of the first system, or the first system is the inverse of the second system. Okay. So accumulator we have seen before, that summation of xk k is equal to minus infinity to n. Okay. And backward difference, okay, they are inverse of each other. Okay. Apparently it seems quite weird and all. The accumulator and backward difference, they are inverse of each other. How? So we have seen accumulator can be represented, the impulse response can be represented as un. This is what we have seen before. Okay. And backward difference you already know, del n minus 1. So when you convolve, so this is del n convolved with un will be un only, and del n minus 1 if you convolve with anything it will be un minus 1, and un minus 1 we all know that it is del n. So if hn is del n, then what is it? The output is same as the input, right? That is what we have seen before. Anything convolved with del n is the output itself. So if that is what you have seen, the input is this, output is this, then this is the impulse response. So you have arrived at impulse response which is del n. So definitely the input and the output are the same. So then one is inverse of the other. Okay. You have a class after this, is it not? Is it? Hello?
Some people have their breaths, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then I am stopping here. Okay, no issue. We can continue from here. You have any question on this so far? Have you understood? These are mostly review, but now you have to assimilate it, because in DSP you have got lab component, design component, okay, term project. So you have to assimilate it, or you have to review it once more and understand the difference. Okay, so I'm stopping here so that you can join the other class at 11. Thank you. I shall upload this part of the slides in the class folder, and we shall continue from here in the next class. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. If you have any question or any doubt, you can mail. And I'm suggesting just one textbook I am referring. Please try to study it. This is a very interesting subject and very important. I mean, people from other departments and many other places, they try to take this course, and often we have issues by which you cannot accommodate them. So for you, we are getting it by default. So make use of it. And as I have told that this, though it is signal processing, but once we convert it to sample and it is more of data, so it is more of a data processing. And this data could be not only these natural signal, speech signal, or image and other things. It could be stock market indices or share market value, financial, this the different kind of analysis that can be done. And those who missed the initial classes that I've told, that our PhD students who are expert in the signal processing and all, they are joining HSBC Bank, Citibank, and these kind of places. So if some of you are thinking that I'm not interested in core electronics, whatever, wherever you go, this kind of signal analysis processing would be useful for you. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.